Now we're
Okay.
recording. Now we're gonna start recording in five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Brittne Martin, and I am the founder of Ebbing Forward, which is a virtual event and webinar organization. Thank you for joining us for this third segment in honor of Black History Month. I'd like to introduce Royce Briales, who is the co-founder of Welcome to Fatherhood. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and some of the things that you're currently working on?
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for having me, Dr. Brittne. Oh, am I okay, I'm recording. I'm sorry. Yeah, again, yeah, I'm the co-founder of Welcome to Fatherhood. We help dads cope with the pressures and stresses of being dads. Me and my childhood friend, Dr. Raheem Young, we started Welcome to Fatherhood back in 2016. And currently we are working on master classes. We have a podcast called WTF Interviews. We have a food drive that we do every 2 weeks. We give food to the homeless. We'll have more awesome stories in that regard to show to the people. What else are we working on? Those are the main ones so far.
Okay, perfect. So the topic today, or the trending topic today, has been mass incarceration, with the emphasis or a focus on looking at Black men in particular. And I've been doing a lot of research. I pulled some statistics, and I was taken aback to see that 1 in every 3 Black men born in the year 2001 are likely to be jailed for their entire lifetime. So I just thought that was
Wow.
pretty shocking. So I want to talk about the impact that mass incarceration has had on fathers in particular, since that's the focus of your organization. So I'm going to read this quote just really quickly, and then we could just kind of dive into some questions. So researcher Dara Lewis, who wrote her dissertation at Loyola University here in Chicago, she wrote, media representation, public discourse, and literature portraying African American men as absent or uncommitted, uninvolved, deadbeats deflects from the role the criminal justice system plays in perpetuating the myth of the missing Black father. Black fathers are not MIA, but are, as Michelle Alexander amply states, far too many of them are locked in cages. So, can you speak about this a little bit? Like, what impact you think mass incarceration has had on Black men or Black fathers in the Black family unit?
Yeah, that's a crazy stat you said there. 1 in 3 Black men. That means 1 in 3 potential fathers being away from their families. And what we've seen is the family structure, since mass incarceration has started, has taken a hit, and it's caused the kids to be impacted more than anything. And the kids being raised without the fathers, could definitely cause a lot of stress and a lot of things for the kids to have to deal with in regards to how they perceive themselves. If you see your father being locked up, then you can only see that could have an impact on how you see yourself growing up and going forward in a negative way. There's people that have risen above that, but you kind of put behind the 8 ball in a way when it comes to that. So that's crazy. I didn't know that was a real stat, but it makes sense because it's a lot of us that are in jail right now, more than anybody. So that makes sense.
What I liked about the quote that I just read too is that she sort of busting that myth that Black fathers are MIA. So one of the things that I like about your organization in particular is that you guys are preparing new fathers to enter into that role. So can you talk a little bit about like how you do that, like how you help mentor and coach them?
Yeah, we have a bi-weekly call or bi-monthly call. I'm sorry. First and third Thursday of the month, we get on a call and talk to fathers, from grandfather all the way down to new fathers. Even we even have people that don't even have kids that jump on a call, like men, just men in general, because they can become fathers, in the future. So, I had one guy that jumped on. He said, "Yeah, I didn't really think about my relation to fatherhood because I don't have kids, but I have a dad, and I have experiences with a dad that wasn't there." So just being able to talk that stuff out, having those conversations has been really therapeutic. I can speak for myself. It's been really therapeutic for me. Growing up and my dad not being there when I was, going through high school as much. Not to do to him being locked up or in jail or anything, but just my mom and him not being together, and that impacted me. So I can only imagine not having your dad at all, not being able to see him, not being able to talk to him as much. That could really impact a young man or woman negatively.
So I read some more statistics too that kind of dives a little bit more into that about how a child who has a parent or a father in particular who is incarcerated, how it impacts their perception of education, how it impacts their desire to pursue like certain careers. So I think that it is something in our community that has to be addressed. The speaker who spoke before you, Miss Alma Walton, her organization has a bill that they're pitching right now to help lower that number. Because I think the stat for that is that at least 50% of the men who are incarcerated are Black males right now.
Mhm.
So I like how you reframe my 1 in 3 statistic, because you're right. One in three means that we're losing 1 out of every 3 Black fathers. So I think that was
Right.
a really good way to reframe that. Um,
Yep.
if you had to give advice to this demographic, what advice could you potentially give them? I know they still get some rights, like the calls and the visitation. What advice could you potentially offer to them as fathers?
I would say be there for your children as much as you possibly can. Don't let anybody or anything get in the way of you being a father to your children. So if you can't talk to them like you want to, you can still write them letters. You can still do things to communicate and reach out to them, to be there, to let them know that you still care. So the system may have you down, but don't let your kids down because of it.
I think that's really good. I think that's really important. There are programs now that cater to that. In some prisons, I think that there's a need for more programs to go into prison systems and to help them acclimate to being fathers, because even after they serve 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they still have a child in the world, and a lot of them do want to return to that role. Um, and just kind of come back and to like pick up where they left off. So, is that something that you see potentially in Welcome to Fatherhood's future? Maybe a program that could potentially help that demographic?
Yeah, I could see a partnership happening in that regard because that's needed, like you said. Because instead of the dad, trying to reconnect and build all this, rapport and all this 10, 15 years down the road, they could be doing that as they're in prison, which could help, ease that transition once they do go out. So yeah, I could see something like that happening for Welcome to Fatherhood for sure.
All right. And I'm just gonna end our interview with just one final question. Can you share with us like one of your philosophies or one of your parenting philosophies that you use with your little ones?
Yeah, I would say show love no matter what. So every day I show my children love, no matter how, you know, flustered or frustrated I could get when it comes to being a parent, you know, not letting that get in the way of me showing them love, because that's the core or the foundation of, my family, my beliefs when it comes to raising my kids is to to show them love so they can show love to whoever they come into contact with, especially their children going forward.
Right. So I think that's gonna wrap up today's webinar session. Thank you to Jessica Newman, Ms. Alma Walton, and Royce Briales for joining us today. And we hope to see you guys back at our next webinar. We will be running programs all month in the month of the month of March for Women's History Month. So we look forward to seeing you.